There we go. So if you see on the right-hand side of your screen, there's a little chat window. Feel free to add some questions in there if you have any questions about the content. I'll be happy to answer those after we get done with the main content here. And I appreciate everybody joining. This is How to Win Business Awards and Influence Revenue. I am Russ Fordyce, founder of the Business Intelligence Group. And what we do is we run business awards programs through a crowdsourced model. And so these gives you some tips and tricks on kind of why winning awards matters, and then also how to win them and the opportunities for you to kind of make the most of winning those awards. So I appreciate everybody joining today. We will make this content available to you as a download as well, and I'll show you where you can get that at the end of the session here. And we've got a couple little bonus things at the very end as well, so stick with us. I promise we're not going to make this too long, but we'll go ahead and get in and get started. So thanks for joining. So the biggest thing we want to get out at early on is kind of the why of business awards. And we've talked to a lot of people and looked at a lot of data. And basically, there's two real reasons why you want to look at business awards in your marketing efforts and in your business efforts. One is around social proof. Your customers are looking at your website and looking at your organization and trying to find out if you are kind of a valid company, if they can validate your business model, validate you as a person. And as we get more and more into this kind of e-commerce world where people are buying things online, this is actually becoming much more important. So you're trying to find that kind of social proof. Do you have other peers of yours that are actually buying the product? And so sometimes business awards can help you validate that social proof, and I'll go through that here in a second. The other thing you want to look at is trust seals, and again, the business awards can kind of play into this arena. You'll often see at the bottom of a website or on a piece of collateral some sort of trust seal, and these can really line up to be different things. Sometimes it's a seal of approval from the Good Housekeeping Institute, or sometimes it's a seal from a leading security supplier saying that your websites can be trusted. So all of these are cues to buyers that allow them to kind of validate your organization and to feel comfortable buying from your company. And so business awards kind of fall into those two categories. And what we're really doing is working on building, that credibility. So it's telling your customers that you have been evaluated by somebody other than themselves and other than just having a website and making it look good. And now you've been validated by somebody else. And so that's really what it's about. It's about making sure that you've kind of stood the test of time and you've stood up and said, hey, I'm going to put my business out there as an award-winning business in the instance of a business award, and somebody else has validated that I am indeed a great and award-winning company. So that's really why we do the business awards. It's really for that trust and that social proof and held awareness for your organization. Some interesting stats. Now, these don't come from the Business Intelligence Group, but they do come from an awards company that did some research around their customers. And what it's telling you here is that on average, small and large companies are both growing their sales and improving their operating income when they win awards, when they're compared to non-winning companies. So it's interesting that sounds like it might be a little bit skewed, right? Is that if you're not winning awards, you're not growing, but the companies that are winning awards are growing. And so you don't know the kind of causation of why their numbers are going up. And I don't think you can assume it's all the business awards, as much as we'd like to think we're great and help businesses get the awareness that they need. But there is some sort of loose correlation there that says if you win awards, you're going to do better. And we'll talk about some of the ways that you can actually use your awards to improve your business. And going through that process. So this is the process. So it's not a very complex process to manage, but you do need to go through kind of a very step-by-step definitive process on looking at how you kind of win awards. And it's not something you want to do once and be done. It's generally something you want to continue to do and to stay active with, and we can show you the value of that here in a minute. So the first step, preparation and research and selecting your awards program. Next is actually participating. And then you're going to go into that kind of win or lose moment, right? And if you win, you're going to implement and repeat. If you lose, You're going to have a little bit different process, but you're still going to go through that implement and repeat process. So this is just a very loose outline of kind of the way you want to go through the process of evaluating and trying to go win awards. So step one really is that preparation and research. So here we are, we've got all of these different awards, types of awards to go look at. And you really have to start to evaluate A, the cost of these awards, and B, the business value. So you'll find some that have very, very low cost, and then you have to evaluate their business value. So great awards to go after are like business associations. Usually they have a very, very low cost. They might even be free. So you see these a lot in chamber events. You see them a lot in industry associations where there's a very kind of low cost of entry, and the business value can be very high. The reason those costs are so low is they're generally member supported. So they're part of some other cost that you're incurring with the event. So you're paying it somewhere else generally. The next kind of one up on the list is an industry award, and that's where I would put the business intelligence group in our awards programs. The costs are a little bit higher, and the business value can be a little bit higher too. You're getting generally a broader reach with an industry award. You're going up a level from kind of a regional or local market level, and you're going into a national or global awareness initiative. And then finally, the largest of the large is really analyst awards. And these can have a very high cost. These are where somebody else like JD Powers or someone else is actually reviewing and looking at your products and putting you into a category to give you an award. They're very high business value. They're very well received, but there generally is a big cost. Sometimes there's not a big cost, but you may be a subscriber of the analyst reports that gets you into consideration, or maybe you need to buy something to be considered or to improve your consideration. So these are all different ways to look at and kind of start to research the different types of awards. One that I would recommend you stay away from are all the pay to win awards. These are, they seem to be a bigger market a few years ago, but they're still out there of these guys that basically you submit your name and win an award and get a logo or a badge. Most people see through that, and most people understand that that's what you did. So it's kind of like paying for a link on Google. Everybody knows you kind of did it. So as you go into kind of participating in the awards program, this is the question we probably get asked the most, is what can I do to kind of enhance my ability to win these awards? First and foremost is, think about your audience. In our programs, we use crowdsourced kind of industry executives. So these are people who on a daily basis are asking, are giving, are in a business, they're either a CEO or a VP of something, and they're giving their time back to judge these programs. Sometimes it's, just for good karma. Sometimes they do it for awareness. Sometimes maybe they do it to influence us. I don't know. But we generally don't judge the program. So you really want to make sure that you're catering your message to that audience. So if you're used to talking to your executive team in a certain way, that's generally how you want to tell your story here too. And the first thing I always say is make sure you have some proof. And you really want to make some tangible decisions and tangible points on your claims. So instead of saying we've had great feedback, you want to really say something along the lines to show that data. Maybe include verbatims from customers, or give real stats that 89% of the people who rated our product rated it as great. So you really want to provide actionable data that shows that you've really done that kind of analysis in your claims. One thing I always tell people is make sure that you read the instructions. It's very, very important to read through all the instructions. I can't tell you how many times we've had somebody come back and ask questions that are clearly described in the instructions or in the entry kit or on the website. And then if you don't find the answer or are unsure, make sure you're asked. Especially these programs, you're generally paying some sort of entry fee, or you've paid your entry fee in some other way, like through a membership. They're there to support you. We're here to support you. If you're unsure, ask a question. Next is really balance your answers. This is something that I don't think enough people do. Is you're really talking about what you achieve, but then you need to also make sure you discuss how you achieve it. And it kind of goes back to telling your story. You want to make sure that you show that complete picture from end to end. You decided to go do this, you did it, and here's the result. So you want to tell that continuum. What I also recommend is going outside of your kind of internal world to have somebody look at that nomination. Before you submit it to us and we submit it to our judges, go ahead and have somebody review it. Ask a friend, ask a neighbor, ask somebody, a CEO in another corporation or a colleague in another corporation to review it and get their honest feedback. That pays off almost instantly as soon as you get their feedback back. And then finally, this is kind of the CYA, the cover your took us answer, is involve more people from your company. If more people are invested in the product that you're putting into and into the nomination, they'll be more invested in the result as well. So the more people you involve in your company, the better. So if you're up for the Public Relations and Marketing Award, maybe go to your operations guy and say, hey, what else could I talk about? Or what else could I put into here? They'll give you some good ideas. They've been in different roles before. So these are just some of the things that we look for and we recommend to all of our nominees. The next is really, what do you do when you win, right? Make sure you're taking advantage of all of the offers that the program is giving you. So there's free publicity usually in all of these programs, and make sure you're taking advantage of that. Our program, we always make a public release, and we put our winners in that. And usually we put a link to any finalists or kind of also rans that go into our press release. This again helps you to build credibility. It gets you into the public eye, gets you into the awareness. So you want to be a part of that. We also recommend that you do your own press release. So you say, so-and-so company won an award. This is an easy way to extend that message. Usually you want to try to time it with the award that you won, the same day that the program is announces the winners. That way you can kind of build on that momentum. And you take that and you extend that out to all your social channels and then any of your sales channels as well, making sure that they're pushing that message out. And then you kind of step back and say, where should I go build credibility and use these trust seals or these proof points in my normal marketing, in my normal business operations. And so if you're an e-commerce site, you want to definitely look at checkout pages. But if you're a normal enterprise sales organization, in your proposals and offer sheets, you want to put it on there. This is a way that those customers are judging you. So think through your funnel and make sure that you're actually putting it in the place where it matters. So in your marketing materials, press releases. And then as you think about it, as your customers engage with you, it's another good way is to reiterate to them that you just won this award. And it almost doesn't matter what award. Did you know we were ranked the #1 in customer service? Or did you know that we were ranked, a top innovator? These are things your customers want to know, even existing customers, as they want to continue to do business with you. So keep up that customer relationship and let them know of their award winning. They want to make sure that they bought the right thing. This is a great way to do that. Here's a couple examples I pulled off this morning. You can actually see, so this is how some of the winners have recently used us. So you see Epsom actually did a press release. We gave, they won a big innovation award for a new kind of printer that actually uses a lot less ink and the ink's easy to refill. That was a big hit. We amplify those messages on social. So we'll generally try to get the message out and to try to help promote their win as well. You'll see how Investopedia in this example actually did their own tweets using the brand. This is a great way to show your followers that you've just won a Best Places to Work or another award. And then a lot of companies have these kind of award pages on their website. So even if you don't have that checkout page, maybe your business model is a little bit different, this is a great way to kind of extend that message. So step 3 is really losing. So what happens if you do lose? And we always like to talk about kind of the ROI of not winning an award. And you really want to ask questions, right? Did you kind of go back into your award process, your nomination process, and say, did I win did I apply for the right award? not everything's going to be a fit. Did you apply for an award you could win? You know, are you a large enough organization? Did they only award large companies and you're a small company? Was the category the right one? We get this question a lot, as especially we're just finalized a cloud computing award, and there's a lot of kind of blurry area. Somebody might say software as a service, but they're also a security product. So which category should they be in? And that's really, it's up to you ultimately to say which category do I best fit in. Would somebody call me a security product or something else? So that's really important, is what's your strong suit? And then you can also always ask, did you miss by a lot, or did you miss by a little? So, do I try again in that category with a similar nomination, or do I need to go back at it and redo that? So then think also about the story. Look at the judges. Often, we publish our list of judges on our website. Often you can go on and see who these judges are prior to submitting your nomination. So make sure that you're talking to the right audience again. And then go back and start thinking about, do I need to tell a different story? Was it the story that let me down, or did I not provide enough proof? And really kind of start to try to dig down into why you might have not been selected as the top award. And then step 4 is really to that implement and repeat, right? So you want to go ahead and try to build this into your normal operating procedure as a marketing or a business organization. Is how do you build this and scale it in an efficient way? This is something that has been growing as we've been going online and looking as we start to buy from companies that aren't necessarily next door anymore. You don't have a good way to validate them. So this isn't a flash in the pan trend. This is something that's going to continue and has been growing over the years. So how can you build this into your normal process in either your marketing or public relations or even business operations departments? How can you build this into your workflow? So you start thinking about, are you doing searches for new awards? Are you asking industry trade associations about awards? Are you looking at your competitors? Are they going on a calendar? Are you following that calendar? Are you kind of mining those stories internally to try to figure out what are you going to say the next time you do go for an award? So this is all kind of building into the process that you need to have a scalable and repeatable process to go out and win and try to attract awards. So there's obviously a lot of discussion so far about not winning awards, right? And if you think about it, there's a lot of people that don't win awards. Maybe you do submit often, but you're not going to win every time. It's not as bad odds as the lottery, but you have to be in it to win it, like the lottery, but you don't always necessarily are going to win. So first and foremost is I always take a line from Susan Lucci, who is who was nominated, I think, 100 times before she actually won an Emmy. It's an honor to be nominated, right? It takes work to do that. It's worth the effort, right? You really now have a chance to go back and say, give me objective feedback so that you can improve your company. We make a concerted effort to get our judges to actually give all nominees feedback, both public and private. So that private feedback is really designed to say you didn't provide enough examples, or you had several typos in your nomination, I couldn't get through them, and to help you get better, right? If you don't win, we also absolutely recommend that you do go to the award ceremony if one is held. So the award ceremony gives you an opportunity to talk to the other people that did win and maybe get some tips, but it also allows you to get in front of those judges and in front of the teams that are putting on the program so that they better know you and make that personal connection. And then one of the things I always tell people is when you lose, make sure you smile and get angry. You shouldn't just sit back and feel sad that you lost. Look at it as an opportunity to get a little bit better and to get angry and to put some motivation around going after that next win. When you're doing these awards, you can absolutely get into kind of a budget discussion. And unless you budget for these types of things, you'll never have enough money because you can always find new award programs to go after. So one thing we always do recommend is to start to put together a budget of look at what you spent in the past, and then say, is it, if we're trying to grow that, maybe looking to allocate additional dollars towards both the kind of preparation for submitting your nomination, and then any nomination fees, and then any marketing that you want to do after your win or loss. So you have to really start to think about the total cost of the program and really look to define usually an annual budget. Usually in most organizations, they're either using a public relations firm or they're using an internal marketing or public relations resource to do most of their award submissions. And so that's a job in itself. And depending on the size of your company, it could be a large job or a small job, and how many awards you're going to go after. So there's a role to be played there. So that should go into your budgeting, whether it be time or dollars. The other thing you want to do is look at the fees and decide, how much money can you spend on these nominations. A lot of programs actually charge you extra for trophies. So if you want a trophy or a medallion or some sort of, if there's a licensing fee for the logo, you're going to need to take that into account into your budget. And then what's the budget that you're going to want to spend to, further enhance the outreach, the media outreach once you do win that award? Are there fees to let your customers know, whether it be email marketing, or maybe you're going to drop something in the mail? If you want to do a press release, how much does that cost? So you want to build kind of that model that shows all the different variables inside of your own organization of cost elements, and then budget that accordingly throughout the year. Here's a good testimonial from one of our winners who actually turned out to be a judge as well, George Scaife from Touch Commerce. And he really kind of hit it best, which is, these programs are allowing you to get an audience of industry analysts, customers, and prospective customers, right? That's the whole goal, is to really give you a story to tell about your own organization in a way that's validated by a third party. So I thought it was a very good quote from George here, is that this whole kind of category, these business awards and industry awards and analyst awards, really gives you a way to have a discussion with your customers. So we've put together this little business awards checklist, and you can download this from the website, and I would recommend you do so. This is a great way to say, okay, if I'm going to go after this, where are all the ways I can use it? And once I do win an award, have I added it to all of these places, or these things I've considered? So obviously we talked about the website. That's pretty easy. You want to do the homepage, the About Us, and then you want to look at your search engine marketing pages if you're doing those. Any landing pages, definitely put it on your blog. In social media, you're going to add it to your Facebook profile. Do you have it as one of your main artwork elements? We've seen people, redo their header images and put their awards in there. Can you add it to your LinkedIn profile? These are all areas and ways to really make the most out of that nomination. Other things you might want to think about is, do you have an email signature program? Can you add it in there? Your sales proposals, if you have demo rooms, do you make posters? These are all relatively inexpensive ways to make sure that the people coming into your office and interacting with your company actually see that exposure and get to know you better by seeing that trust seal or that validation. So this again is available under the resource sections of our website. So if you step over there, you can download it right away and then print it out. So the other thing I'd recommend to you is, we spent a good deal of time and energy putting this webinar together, but we've also detailed a lot of this in a book. So you can download that book at beintelligence.com/ebook. It's available for download right now. It's an instant download. So I'd recommend getting that, and it's a very good resource to have as you go into the process of determining how and where to win awards. There's also a bunch of different links and tips from other people and other partners of ours and other industry influencers to help you kind of manage through this process. So all of that content we talked about today, as well as a lot of other content, is in that ebook. So I recommend that you download that. And finally, as a kind of an incentive to help you get into the business of winning awards, we're giving a $50 coupon code here for anybody who wants to submit for one of our awards. So if you write down that promotion code, the 1P6KG7A, you can actually get a $50 coupon code when you submit a nomination in one of our programs. Now we're limiting it to just the 2016 program, so you'll need to submit something before the end of the year, but we have plenty of left. We have a lot of different programs coming up, including, I think, our general kind of business awards program called the Business Intelligence Group Awards, or the BIG Awards. We've got innovation, sustainability, and so there's a lot of different awards that you can look for on our website, as well as many others. So if you want to take advantage of that, write down that promo code 1P6KG7A, and that'll save you $50 on the program. So I appreciate everybody joining today. I'm going to switch over here real quick and see if there's any questions that I can answer. So I don't see any questions. I'll go ahead and give you some of your time back. And so I appreciate everybody joining today. Hopefully this was useful. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. You can email me at russ@dintelligence.com, or if you have a general question, it'll go to the team at contact@dintelligence.com. So thanks again for joining, and have a great